Punk and John Morrison.
Okay, yeah, I know he was supposed to wrestle CM Punk, and then he said he has to go home because his wife was throwing up blood or something, or his wife was real sick.
He sent a text message into work. He actually was never there. He never showed up.
Oh, okay. And then the next day, I get home from work around 10 o'clock, and my dad leaves a voicemail saying, call me when you get home. I don't know if you recorded Raw or not, but I want to tell you what happened tonight. And then I was thinking, okay, I wonder what happened. Did Hulk Hogan come back? Did a major superstar come back on Raw? Did something big happen? You know, and when I talked to my dad, I didn't expect to hear what I heard. Chris Benoit and his family, his wife, and his son were all found dead in their house. And I was like, what? Someone murdered him? He said, we don't know yet. They were just found dead. And that night, Vince McMahon, when Raw came on the air, Vince McMahon stood in the ring in the middle of an empty arena. Now, keep in mind, this was during the ridiculous storyline where Vince McMahon was blown up in a limo and he was supposed to be dead. So he was forced to get on camera and break the storyline. Oh, he's back to life all of a sudden, and break character, what we call kayfabe, and tell people what happened with Chris Benoit. And so he had to step out on TV and you know, the whole night was dedicated, kind of like they did it with Eddie Guerrero and Owen Hart tribute show. It was a Chris Benoit tribute show, where everybody sits down and maybe a 30 to 60 second interview talking about their relationship with Chris Benoit and what he liked about him and what kind of person he was. And I think JBL, some people were saying, he's a man that loved his family very much. And then all of a sudden the next day we get news flashes talking about it was a double murder-suicide. And then Benoit killed his wife and son and hung himself. So yeah, we didn't expect. A lot of people was thinking, did someone murder them, or was it something with the air conditioner? I don't know what it's called, where air conditioner, if it messes up, the air can poison you or something.
Freon.
That's what I was thinking of.
And yeah, and and I heard Vince McMahon, a lot of people were obviously angry. One of the reasons why they're angry about this is because they went on camera and said the nicest things. Oh, he's a family man. He loves his family very much. He will never hurt them, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, you find out he killed them. Mm-hmm. Now, to this day, I'm still hoping that's not true. That's just something else to the story. But even to this day, all the evidence and everything says that Benoit snapped or something. I think they did an autopsy where something was wrong with his brain, or his doctor, Sean Astin, I think that's his name, prescribed him the wrong prescription. And it eventually made Benoit snap or go haywire or something. And then I heard that, he killed his wife. I think he smothered his son Daniel with a pillow or put him in the crossface, which is
in a sleeper hold.
You what?
There was like a sleeper hold or something.
Oh.
It was like he just choked him out.
And I also heard this. I'm not sure if this is true, but I heard he laid Bibles next to each of their bodies.
He did.
Yeah, as if he knew he messed up or something. And then I guess that's when he hung himself. He realized, well, he's screwed. He felt so remorse. Really felt remorse after that. He took his own life. I don't know. It's so weird. And I remember.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, it's just that I was actually really close to the situation when it happened. A couple years back, I was training to become a professional wrestler myself, and I happened during this time to be working with a small wrestling organization here in Virginia called All-Star Wrestling. They're actually based out of Tennessee, run by a man by the name Stan the Man Lee. So when this all broke, I had the opportunity to talk to other wrestlers, and also I spent a lot of time just watching CNN and a whole bunch of news stories on this whole thing that happened. And I kind of got a lot of inside stuff on what happened with Chris Benoit. Not the full story of what happened, but some other insights. But I'll let you go ahead and finish what you were saying or whatever.
Well, I think I forgot what I was going to say, but I'll close with when it first happened. I mean, it was just so surreal. And Bret Hart was interviewed. He was saying he refuses to believe this. He refuses to believe that Benoit did this. Something's not right about all this. But a lot of wrestlers have been known to take a lot of drugs because of the pain they have to go through. I mean, Tess passed away this year. I think he committed suicide by overdose, from what I heard. And a lot of wrestlers are known to have abused drugs because of the hectic life on the road to be a wrestler and the pain and the bumps they had to take in the ring. And for all we know, I mean, a lot of fans, whether you want to call them Benoit fanboys or just fans, are saying, "Oh, he would never do that. You know, that's a lie." Blah blah blah. Well, PW Insider brought up a good point. We don't know Chris Benoit. We don't know the man personally. So how do we know for sure he would never do that? I mean, we just kind of got to go by what the autopsy and the police reports have confirmed, and you know, I guess come to terms with the fact that Benoit did kill his family and himself. And it's real sad to me because on many different levels, obviously it's sad, but to me personally, he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Now when I go back and watch these old wrestling tapes, I still enjoy his matches, but I still can't think of him the same. And especially the WrestleMania 20 closing moment where him and Eddie Guerrero were both the champions, and unlikely world champions in the WWE. I mean, they're great wrestlers, but as far as the storylines of politics, who would have thought those two would have been on top of the world and closing WrestleMania 20? And they both stood in the ring when Benoit won the world title, and confetti and everything, and they're all hugging each other, and now they're both passed away, except with Benoit, it was because he murdered his family and then himself. And so that image of WrestleMania 20 isn't really that special to me anymore because of what happened with Chris Benoit. But okay.
I actually have a question.
Okay.
I guess anybody wants to answer it. Were there any kind of like warning signs with Chris Benoit before this happened?
Yeah, there was a few warning signs. It was kind of information that came out after the murder happened. Apparently, his wife had filed a restraining order on him a couple years back, and so he was known to be kind of rough with his wife or whatever. And also, a lot of the things that they said that happened during this time was his son was suffering from minor autism, and his wife was telling them that you have to come home. You got to come home and be with your son. You got to come home and stay with your child or whatever. And he didn't want to do that. And then on top of that, WWE was demoting him to ECW, and he didn't want to be a part of the ECW show because that was like going down in the ranks or whatever. Even though he was going to be champion on the show, he didn't want to do it. So he was kind of really upset. He had a lot of bad things going on in his head at the time, and he was really kind of mad at the world at that moment. So that's kind of, a lot of that kind of led into what ended up happening to him and his family.
I also heard something about, I think Nancy Benoit left a note laying around saying, if anything ever happens to me, it's Chris. Did you hear about that?
No, I never
heard about that.
You have?
Yeah, that was like, when I heard about that, like, I don't remember who told me that, but it was just like, why'd you say something like that? I mean, it's like, even though, yeah, we heard about everything else and how, like, it all seemed like a whole psychosis kind of thing. Like, because when you think about it, it's like, it's all this stuff broke him down, and it's just like, it was getting to the breaking point, and it was just like, one little thing could just make him like, that's it. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, and I think the autopsy, did it come back as he had the brain of an 80-year-old man?
I don't know that.
I mean, that's what I heard from PW Insider or somewhere, and Vince McMahon said, he made a statement saying, that sounds stupid, because if he had the brain of an 80-year-old or Alzheimer's, whatever, of 80-year-old man, how would he be able to travel, go to the airport, rent a car, do this, do that, and wrestle in the ring all the time?
I never heard that, but one thing I did hear is they found some traces of steroids in his body, and that he was apparently, him and his doctor had just prescribed to him steroids, and he was getting steroids from his doctor and stuff, and that could have made him go crazy. But then there's also rumors that the steroids were for his son, because his son had like a disorder in growing or whatever. It goes back to that autism thing. See, I don't know if it was autism his son had, or if he had a growing deficiency. He had some kind of deficiency, some kind of handicap, and his wife was telling him that he needed to stay home with his child and everything and take care of his child. And apparently, in his mind, he thought, well, I found a way to take care of him. I hate to say it like that, but that might have been what was going through his head at the time.
Yeah, and I was thinking lately, you know, a lot of wrestlers from my childhood and in my teen years have died. I mean, you go back, you think of Sensational Sherry died the same month that Chris Benoit did, but her death was overshadowed real quick when Benoit died. And I mean, you got Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites.
Brian Adams. Brian Adams died 2 months later after Benoit, I think. Bad News Brown, Bam Bam Bigelow, Mike Awesome. That was early 2007. I know we're getting off topic here about Benoit, but I can't help but to